Hey guys, it's Tapes in here of Collectomaniacs, and as promised, I'm bringing you the music memorabilia live auction from London at Propstore. A few weeks ago, you might have watched a video I did, just basically me scrolling the catalogue. Um, Thanks for the 35 people that watched it, but I thought we could go through some of the lots I talked about in the previous video and talk about some of the standout lots that's happened today. The sales still happen. Let's have a quick look to see where they are right now. They are at view stream. So they're currently selling Alan White and Steve White owned an autographed White Marine Pearl drum kit from Oasis, and it's got a current bid of £1,900. I have to say, drum kits haven't done particularly well today. I'm quite surprised, but there you go. They're not guitars, I suppose, but if you're a drummer, I'm sure you love them. So the sale's still going on. I tell you what, they did drag this auction off. Bloody hell, it's taken a long time to get through stuff today. I think that the sale started at 3 p.m. It's now 8:15 in the evening. So it's been 5 hours or more, and they're only at lot 250, and there's another more than 175 lots to go. So yeah, it's going to be a late one. It's part of the reason why I'm doing this now and not doing it at 2 o'clock in the morning. So let's get on with it. So these are the standout lots that sold in the sale. Some of them we talked about, some of them I was quite surprised by, and some I didn't talk about, and I'm quite surprised by, and I'm going to talk about because they're amazing. So lot number one of Slash's guitar, it was a photo matched tour stage used guitar. It had a huge estimate on it. It had quite a wide ranging estimate from 150 to £300,000. I think that sort of estimate you put on something that you're really not quite sure what it's going to go for, but you think it's going to go for quite a lot, and you just think, oh yeah, I'll stick 150 on that. And you know, they were right to, because it did sell in the end with buyer's premium for £233,100. So it well and truly cleared the bottom estimate, so it went mid-estimate in the end. Now, I thought there was a lot of money for the guitar, but it's turned out to be the most expensive lot in the sale so far. Freddie Mercury's stage used microphone is still got to come up, but yeah, it went for what surprised me was that it had great provenance, and it was photo matched to him playing it live quite recently. But that was the key point. It was a recently played Slash guitar from the tour, from when the band recently got back together with Axl, Duff and Slash. You know, it's sort of the last 6-7 years. We're not talking 90s Use Your Illusion period. We're talking something that's very recent. So I thought it was a lot of money, but then it's a 59 custom shop guitar. So I don't know if that means it actually is a 59 guitar or whether it's a 59 model. I can never tell these days. Guitar experts, let me know in the comments. But fair enough. Went for a lot of good money. Pleased for it. To me, I'm not a massive George Michael fan, but I think in terms of like icons and importance when it comes to like memorabilia, I think the George Michael photo matched Fate music video and tour custom La Rocca leather jacket was the more iconic, I hate to say that, but iconic item, because it was the jacket, whereas the Slash guitar was a Slash guitar that was played quite recently but wasn't the Slash guitar. It did very well. It exceeded top estimate, so I was probably right to think that, but it went for £176,400. That really did, that went for a long time. There's a couple of people that really wanted that jacket, so it's a good price. And after that, the third biggest seller so far was the John Lennon and Yoko Ono signed Double Fantasy promotional poster. This is one of the last 4 items that John signed before he was shot. So the provenance is everything. I can't emphasize that enough, and I know people that collect this stuff knows that already, but if you're just watching for fun and you're thinking about collecting for the first time, provenance, man, that's the difference between this being a couple of grand and, as it turned out to be, 75 grand. And it's all down to the fact that this was one of the last things that John signed before he died, which is kind of morbid in a way, but obviously it's something what collectors really, really want. As it's shown, it was estimated 60 to 120,000. It went for 75,600. So there we go. But then on the other flip side, The lyrics for Paul McCartney's lyrics for Goodbye, first draft of the lyrics written in 1969 on Apple letterhead. They had all the chords on it, really nicely written, obviously not in great condition, but doesn't really matter. Went unsold. They had an estimate of 55 to 110,000 pounds. I was quite surprised by that, but it doesn't mean that's it. After the sale, what they do is they do second chance offers. So you can put an offer in at the lower estimate, or if I was you, I'd put an offer in at about 25% below the lower estimate, because they do often accept that. And that's usually the minimum that they'll accept. I mean, you put an offer in £1, but I think they'll just laugh. I've bought a few things that way in the past, things that I haven't sold, I've been quite surprised by. It's quite a lot of stuff that has not sold in this sale. So read that into that as what you like into the market, or do they put too high estimates on things in the first place? It's probably a bit of both. Because there's a lot of stuff that didn't sell in this sale. The big stuff sold, but then there's a lot of big stuff that hasn't sold as well. So they were a big surprise for me and went well over estimate. And this is one of those items which I think they put quite a low estimate on, and probably knew it was going to go for quite a lot, given that the buyer's premium all went to Ed's charity. And this was Ed Sheeran's screen matched and autographed jacket from Shape of You music video. Had an estimate of £3,500 to £7,000. It ended up going for £66,150. It's a huge amount of money. And yeah, it's screen matched. It's got his signed by Ed, and it's got him actually, his handwritten provenance, him saying this is the jacket that I wore in Seattle for the movie, for the video in 2016. So I think that's quite interesting because, rock memorabilia historically does very well. And when I say historically, it does, same in terms of like legacy. When people listen to rock music like Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, it lasts the ages. Pop music's not always like that. So whether Ed Sheeran's, this jacket came up for sale again in a few years' time, would it fetch that sort of money? Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. I think also you have to bear in mind that it's, a proportion of it went to charity, the final fees. So are you going to get benefactors who want to bid on it just for it to do well as well for that reason, which is a good reason. But, there's plenty of money out there. If people want an Ed Sheeran jacket, maybe they'll get it for the kid for Christmas. They've got the money to spend, and they're doing a bit of good whilst they're at it as well. So there you go. Jimi Hendrix lyrics for 51st anniversary. There was a great story behind this. It was two friends who got his Jimi's autograph, and he tore off a piece of notepaper, and the paper ended up tearing in half. The two friends sort of lost touch, and they got back together, and they got the two pieces of paper back together again. Great story. Didn't make any difference because it didn't sell. It went to 35. It had an estimate of 35 to 70,000, and it was unsold. So quite a lot of money for some lyrics, but Jimi Hendrix, and handwritten by him. It's interesting. I found that I collect posters. They're my thing. I collect music posters and film posters, and lots of other things as well. But that's kind of where I started with after action figures. And you would have thought something like that is something that's really nice to display. You could put on the wall. It's a real good talking point. But I find that lyrics are very hit and miss. There's two very important pieces of rock memorabilia. Both went unsold, but maybe because the estimates were too high. So there's a few things still to come, which I haven't got to yet, and you're not going to hear from me tonight. Let's just see where they are in the sale. They're currently at £258. Maybe they will by the time I stop rabbiting on, but let's carry on anyway. So another thing that sold really well was George Harrison had written "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" sheet music and autographed live in Japan book-proof page, up to £37,800. And what a great tune. I don't know if these are like the original lyrics. It looks like he's just written the lyrics onto sheet paper, probably for a gig he was doing or something. I should read the description really, shouldn't I? But I'm not going to. I was quite surprised by that. I thought that was a lot of money, but then I love George Harrison. It's my favourite Beatles, so fair enough. What else? Michael Jackson custom-made black and orange military style jacket went for £36,225. It was a good sale to get your Michael Jackson memorabilia in, wasn't it? With the movie coming out, it's doing really well. So clearly still a big market for Michael's stuff. This is a lot that I talked about in the previous film. It was the David Bowie Alan Sane concept cover with vintage proof. Now, this album cover, the original album cover artwork or photograph by Brian Duffy, It's currently set the record for the most expensive album cover ever sold at auction, about 250,000, which I was quite surprised by. You'd think like something like, the Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's by Peter Blake, that would outsell that, but I don't know if that's ever come up for auction. But yeah, it did very well. This was a test proof print, and it went for 34,650, so well within estimate. A Michael Jackson fedora from the 1987 Pepsi commercial went for 34,650. And then I suppose we couldn't really not talk about Oasis, seeing as there's so much Oasis stuff in the sale. It's like Noel Gallagher, I think I don't know, it's like rubs his hands together when Propstore come knocking. So this lot, Noel Gallagher's Les Paul custom 20th anniversary guitar played during the recording of Standing on the Shoulder of Giants, sold for £34,650, which I thought was good because it's quite a boring guitar. And the Epiphone they had, the Union Jack Epiphone, which I talked about in the previous video, that only went for like 3,500, but it wasn't his guitar, but I think he'd signed it. Terrible autograph, I remember though. For some of the big standout things that are sold, this Nirvana CD, this is a single for Come As You Are, signed by all three of them, so Kurt, Dave and Chris Novoselic, but for £20,160, which is amazing. I mean, this is more my era, and it shows that 80s, 90s stuff is it's really getting there. I mean, this is in parallel with like the Beatles, really. So yeah, amazing. For saying it's quite an ugly, it's just a crappy little CD single on like a little jewel case. Actually, let's have a quick look at this. This sort of thing I'd go for if I had silly money. I like England, but I don't like the kebabs. Okay. That is a cool inscription. I think that probably is what partly is the reason why it sold for what it did. I like England, but I don't eat the kebab. Very good. Yeah, that is a unique autograph. The other thing I talked about in the last video was this this Beatles tray, which I was just gobsmacked. They had 15 to 30,000 pounds on it, and I was like, Beatles are really worth this sort of money. Turns out it's not. It didn't sell, so I was quite pleased about that. I was right. One thing that did sell was Ringo Starr's photo match Douglas Milling's custom suit worn at Radio Luxembourg Studios in 1964. It's been photo matched, and it's a really great photo of him wearing it. He's pulling a bit of face there, but it's like kind of very iconic Beatles, that, isn't it? That went for £18,900 at an estimate 10 to 20,000 on it. So I don't know if that's a lot of money or not. Beatles, I would have thought, would that fetch more money a few years ago? I don't know, but it seems like Beatles stuff is still pretty solid. So that's where we're up to so far. Let's have a quick look back at the auction, see where they are. They're still going through the Oasis stuff, so I'm going to leave it at that for tonight, guys. If you like this little video, please hit like and subscribe, because this is a new thing for me. I'm just trying it out. This is the sort of thing I do anyway. Hope you get a sense of who I am and what I'm into. If you like people like pulling apart the sales and talking about them, this is the thing for you. I do music, I do film, sort of thing I do anyway. So go through the catalogues, look at stuff, buy the junk that no one else wants. Most of it I just Google over because I just want it, but I can't afford it. So I'll just talk about it anyway. And it's good for me because I like to see what things go for and where the market is and things as well, because you never know when you might spot something. So if you're collecting for the first time or you've been collecting for years, let me know. Leave comments, tell me what you want me to talk about, or what you don't like me talking about. And yeah, I'll be sure to remember it for next time. I'm going to keep doing top 10s or things that sold for ridiculous money, because I feel like that's something that people can digest quite quickly. I'm going to do it on music as well. I'm doing quite a lot of stuff on Star Wars at the moment, but I'll be looking into, I'm going to do Back to the Future, I think. I'm going to look at like, some guy commented about liking these sort of videos, which is great. But he wanted like more about music video props and things like that. So I might do something on that. Instruments, like iconic instruments that sell for a huge amount of money. And it won't all be Propstore. I'm going to look at all the other auction houses as well. So yeah, I rabbited on long enough. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye.